You know, back in the day when I was a kid, one of my favorite things to do was walk into Walmart, right? And go to the toy section, the Thomas section, and just look at the multiple things they had to, see. There was always something unique and neat, and you would beg your parents for something, and hopefully you got a new toy. That's something I imagine a lot of you 30-year-olds still do to this day. Well, the best packs normally came out around the time of movies, you know what I'm saying, or bigger Thomas events. And it just so happened during Misty Island, that's kind of where we got some of the more cool Trackmaster Thomas and Friends items. And we kind of have one to talk about today. One that's a little bit random, but it's one of my favorite ones. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, today we have a Percy and the Search Car set. Well, kind of just to review, because this is one I saw or had back in the day that I really, really liked, and I very much remember, just having a lot of fun with, because having a dirty Percy just, makes sense, you know what I'm saying? This feels put upon. But also, it kind of, represents a golden era of Trackmaster, because it, in a sense, doesn't really make sense. It's a very nice product. It came with some very, very cool cars. But before any of that, let's talk about the pack itself. So the pack we're looking at today came out in 2010, and I don't know about you guys, but that's a fact that makes me feel incredibly old. So now 15 years at this point, or this pack is 15 years old. It's been 15 years since we've had, good Trackmaster, I guess. And what the pack included was, as you can see, a Percy, which is pretty dirty there on the boiler. Sadly, just the boiler. Not really anything here on the cab. A little bit on the face there, and nothing on the chassis. But that's something that's, Playrail still does stuff like that to this day. And he also came with two pretty decent troublesome freight cars. Not really troublesome. These don't have faces, forget that point. So the first car is this thing here. It's a kind of gondola car or flatbed, and inside of it we have some tool bins and a giant rope with a, I guess, hook attachment there at the end. And again, it's very unique, but it's also not the most in scale, I guess you could say. Like, for example, here's Percy right next to that hook. Is this being used to pull engines? Because it might as freaking well be. Also, the toolboxes themselves. I mean, these things are just kind of massive, but to be fair, to fit in a Trackmaster car, I guess they kind of have to be, and at least they're painted. They look decent. Maybe a little bit of wash or something like that would make that rope look a little bit better. And oh, it's a lamp. So this one right here is a lamp, and I think that's like a pair of binoculars or something like that. I don't know. At least they're painted. You know, most of the Trackmaster stuff you get now has a load that's just a singular piece of plastic. That is just one color, and that's the color you get. And again, just look at the wagon itself. Look at that molded detail. Look at the little doors there and the rivet work. It's nice. It's something that, again, I kind of wish we could just go back to. We'll get back to Percy here in a second, so we can, talk a little bit more about that. Here is the other wagon this thing came with, and this is a pretty much silver or almost bluish silver water tanker with a red base and a red accenting. Cool, there you go. Now, if there's anything I could say about these tankers, at least they have buffers. So let's take a look at a Playrail. I think this one came with, was it Toby? Maybe it was Percy. No, this is the one that came with Percy. No buffers. No buffers there at the front at all. At least this one has a little bit more attention to detail put into it, and you know what I'm saying? I will say the plastic itself does look very plasticky. You know, the metallic finish isn't the most helping for this product. It really brings out the mold lines. I don't know if this camera might not be picking that up very well. Look right there at the top. Like, it very much brings out the fact that this is plastic. It is a little interesting, if not just straight odd, that they used fire red as an accenting for a water tanker. I don't know. I guess it matches the load inside of this one. It's just odd. It's a little bit of a weird, piece of merch, if you could say anything about it. But at the very least, it's neat, and it has buffers, and it's a cool-looking little tanker. So, yeah, you kind of got some very nonsensical wagons. That's pretty much the norm with anything Trackmaster at this time. Like, sometimes you just got a random brake van, a troublesome truck just to get a troublesome truck. I mean, at least these ones are semi-thematic, you know what I'm saying? There's a water tanker there. There's a this is a search and rescue gondola, I guess, if you could call it anything. Or maybe just a engine part gondola. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And a dirty Percy. And the reason I like this pack so much was at the time I really wasn't customizing my engines very much. It was kind of just I got an engine and that was what it was because I was a kid. I didn't have a 3D printer or a X-Acto knife or really know how to do any of the things I do now. So to finally have a put upon Percy, or a Percy that just looked like he had been doing a lot, that wasn't, thrown around and just got wear from playing with it, it just looked worn. And I mean, pretty damn well as well. If you look at that weathering they've done on the side of them, it's pretty much just a little bit of random round airbrushed in, again, random spots, but that's all it had to be. That looks very, very unique, and it's a brown instead of like a black or something like that. It's just a very dirty looking, what other Trackmaster item looks like this? Like, think about the Splish Splash Emily and how basic that one is, and look at what Trackmaster did with this Percy. I don't know. It's kind of neat. They even did a little bit on the face there. I just think it's kind of cool. Now, sadly, this thing is not in a pristine condition. There's a little bit of, I think that might have been a sticker there at the top, or just a little bit of residue there on the top of the cab. Besides that, it looks like Percy here is pretty much, again, pristine. Same thing with this wagon here. This one is a little bit dirty, as you can see there, so it needs a wash. I'm not really planning on customizing these things too much, or to a point to where they won't be what they already are. You know what I'm saying? I like this orange, but it would look better, admittedly, as just like a normal brown or like as a normal truck, and then I could use it as something else. This tanker, it's weird, but it's novel. It's just novel enough to where I kind of want to keep it as it is. So, I don't know. It's got that almost bluish silver red bottom. Again, should I modify any of this? I don't really know. I think if anything, I'll try to get that little bit of sticker there off the top. I did initially have the idea to, because I could probably replicate this very, very easily with my airbrush or a little bit of spray paint. You know, maybe bring this off just the boiler and put some on the back of the cab, maybe some on the chassis. Give them the black chassis block like I do with every other Percy product ever. But, I don't know, at that same token, this is kind of one of those things that's just kind of neat as it is. Do I really need to modify everything that I get? I don't know. Maybe comment down below, and if that's something you guys would like to see, I'll do a follow-up video and show how I don't know, I guess how I would make this thing a little bit better. Like, repainting that's probably something I'm going to do either way, is repaint this wagon. Yeah, maybe if there's a desire to actually see it, I'll make again, follow-up and show you how to maybe make this a bit more of a put-upon Percy. No, I'm not putting a 3D printed face on this. This one's fine as is. But if I did customize it a little bit more, I'd probably make him pissed off. We'll see. We'll get to that. Let's see this thing in action. Oh yeah, it turns out the prototype for this thing would have been even cooler. Like, this tanker would have been, you know, transparent with an actual, like, maybe blue liquid or like a blue mold inside of it, but it would have looked a little bit more like a water tanker, not this, you know what I'm saying? The Percy looked a lot worse, arguably. It was like it looked like coal dust, you know what I'm saying? And it would have been a standard Tommy Percy. This didn't even have a load in the prototype, so I don't know. Take from that what you will. That's pretty cool, I guess. Don't worry about Neville in the back. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. He's being overhauled. He's being worked on. Don't worry about it. This is a Percy video. Shut up.
Bye-bye. See you soon.